Turn the mic up. This is legacy emotion. For vision of victory, trailblazing the path. Mind sharp, words heavy, every bar got class. Iconic by nature, pioneer by design. History in the making every time she aligns. Doctorate dreams, but the roots run deep. Built from the grind, now the whole world speaks. Culture, purpose, power when she steps in the room. Drop gems so real, make the future zoom. Yeah.
This is iconic pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Housed with wisdom, Dr. Tabatha Russell on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.
Welcome in everyone to the Iconic Pioneers podcast, the space where disruptors, trailblazers, and bold thinkers gather to rewrite the rules of success. I'm your host, Dr. Tabatha Russell, and on this show, we will go deep with those who aren't afraid to lead differently, those who are building legacy, impact, and authority that echoes for generations. On today, I just so happen to have the amazing opportunity to be interviewing Coach Danielle Dominique. Can I just say that she's doing some amazing things with her platform, The Art of Evolving. Coach Danielle, it's so great to see you on today. Welcome in.
Good morning, Dr. Tab. Thank you for the invite. I'm so happy for the opportunity to be here today.
You are most welcome. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell them what it is that you do.
Hello, everybody. I am Coach Danielle Dominique. I am the founder of The Art of Evolving, the true essence of forgiveness. I am a women's empowerment advocate. I am a minister, a speaker, an author. I am the woman that helps propel women reclaim their identity. I help women understand their worth. I help them overcome those complex relationships and help them set those healthy boundaries so they're not going through that revolving door of toxic relationships and just going through that same cycle over and over. And through the Kim method, they gain the knowledge, their insight, and their mindset of just understanding who they are and why they were created for a purpose.
I love that. Y'all heard that, right? She's teaching the art of forgiveness. And that is something that is very much so needed in this world, in this time, and in this era. So tell me, what does it mean to be an iconic leader to you personally?
To me personally, to be an iconic leader, it means to be true to yourself. It means being a trailblazer and setting the stage where you are being authentic and you're not changing who you are to fit the mold or the crowd. You are setting your own lane, you're setting your own path, and you're paving a path for the ability just to be who you are and engaging with people and just meeting people where they are, and just being that leader that they need and being that voice for those that don't know how to speak for themselves at the moment or don't know how to put a name to what they're going through at the moment. So just being true to yourself.
I love that. That is so awesomely amazing, being true to yourself. So tell me about a defining moment when you realized that you weren't built to follow the crowd.
Whew. So it hasn't been per se a one defining moment. I am a unique one. I'm one outside of the fold. So for me, it has been like a combination of moments that helped me realize that I was different. And for me, it was being forced suddenly out of the workplace. So being hit with sudden health challenges and being hit with chronic illnesses and having to leave the work and losing my independence and losing the ability to serve and move and do like I used to do. And then on top of that, navigating my own healing process and navigating complex relationships and divorce and domestic violence. So all that encompassed helped propel me into understanding that I no longer I went from Lord, why me to okay, God, what are you trying to show me that what I'm going through is going to help somebody else. So I realized that what I was going through and what I'm going through is for the next woman so that I can look back and reach to help them in their journey to try to help them avoid some of the pitfalls and some of the hard things that I had endured because I didn't have someone there to help lead and guide me through those things. So going from Lord, why me to Lord, how can I use what I'm going through to help somebody else?
Oh, I love that. That is so much good information in that. So I know that every leader faces some sort of resistance, right? So what's one
Mhm.
obstacle that almost broke you and how did you overcome it? Because I hear so many complex layers in there when you were just talking about how you realized that you weren't able to follow the crowd. So what's one of those obstacles and how did you overcome it?
Uh, one of those obstacles for me was the being uncertain of my voice, being uncertain of my purpose, being uncertain of um, where I am and what I was to do because I was hit with these challenges and I realized like, okay, this ain't for me. Now what? How do I go about helping other women? How do I go about, getting my voice out there and getting used to my voice and telling my story? That for me has really been one of the most things that I have found resistance in is finding my voice and just finding my place and getting used to Coach Danielle Dominique and telling my story.
Well, you know
Yes.
what? I love that. Getting used to telling your story. Now, I know that you've had the opportunity and to tell your story from the stage, right? On the Powerful and
Mhm.
Perfect Summit stage. Tell me just a little bit about what that felt like, that journey getting to the stage, because I know I personally had the opportunity to witness the transformation in you using your voice. So, share with us what that journey was like.
So the journey was again, it was one of uncertainty and getting used to my voice and understanding that my story does have a purpose and that the journey to the stage, it was one of faith, it was one of surrender, it was one where I fought through a lot of health challenges even leading up to the stage. I was good and then all of a sudden my body was like, you know what, we're not doing this, and it just decided it wanted to start shutting down. And I had to make a decision. Okay, am I trusting God or am I going to continue to let fear take the reign and take me out of what God is opening the door for me? And it was that day that I trusted God. And I said, "Okay, God, I'm really putting faith over fear, and I'm trusting you." And I stepped out on faith on that stage, told my story, and it has been amazing. It has been amazing because on that stage, when I say I surprised myself because I didn't realize really, you know, how much I really have survived, how much I really have experienced, and how much my story will help other women. Just from even if it's not from the illness standpoint, even if it's from being a single mother, being a domestic violence survivor, having complex a medical diagnosis. So there's layers to me. So regardless of the layer, I feel like I can help each and every woman, regardless of where they are, because I lived it. I've witnessed it, I've experienced it. So I understand the pain, I understand the tears, I understand the fatigue, I understand the times when you just want to give up and you don't have nobody to talk to. So I understand. And so I want to be that beacon of light. I want to be that beacon of hope to say, hey, sis, you can get through this. You can make it. You can endure, just keep the faith, And so that's what it is.
Ooh, that's really good. And I know that you've definitely been helping a lot of women in their moments of, transformation. So, how do you balance building wealth, influence, and impact without sacrificing your authenticity?
So, without sacrificing my authenticity, I first asked the question before really accepting the opportunity is, does this align with my faith and does it align with my values? Right. So, I'm strong in my faith and Christian faith based, and I don't want to steer away from that because that has helped me in my journey. Leaning into my faith, that has helped me. And so I make sure that whatever opportunity I have, it's not going to take me away from that. And then secondly, I make sure that um, what I'm doing, will it genuinely help the women that that I'm called to help? Am I really targeting that audience, or are the women really, in that age group, that age bracket in which I can reach them and they're going through and they can identify with what I have to offer? And then thirdly is, can I do it without sacrificing my health, my peace, and my integrity? So if it costs me my health, if it costs me my integrity or my peace, then it's a no, because it doesn't fit into the authenticity and the wealth and the building of the art of evolving and what it stands for, the influence and the impact that I desire to have on the lives of women within the local community and beyond. I'm thinking large scale. So just women in general, I'm not thinking just keeping it in the box. We going outside the box.
I love it. Outside the box is definitely a good place to be, right? So, what's
Yes.
a myth? What's a myth about leadership or success that you believe needs to be dismantled immediately?
One myth that needs to be dismantled is that the leader has to have everything together at the beginning. That the leader has to have everything, every T crossed, every I dotted before they can fully step out. And I'm a witness and I'm a testament that, everything don't have to be perfect, right? So is the point is you taking a step of faith. So understanding that everything don't have to be done right then, but you have a blueprint, you have a roadmap, and you taking it day by day, step by step, and you just understanding that it does not have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything right then, right there. And also to be strong and lean on those that are around you, that's been through it, that's walked through it, glean from those, learn from those, and don't try to do it all yourself. It's okay to ask for help. I've learned that as well. A lot of leaders may think, well, I'm not going to ask because I don't want them to think little of me. I don't want them to think less of me because I don't know as much as they do. Okay, at one point they didn't know what they know neither. So you don't know what you don't know until you don't know what you don't know. And then when you do know, then you can learn and you can help somebody else, right? So
Mhm.
that thing that the leaders have to know everything and they have to have everything together. That myth needs to be like totally dismantled.
Oh, I love that. And that is a true saying because what I find, even with working with some of my clients, is that that's one of the first things that we talk about because perfectionism, right? We look at social media, we look at the news, all the things where people are doing some amazing things and it looks polished, it looks like it's together, where for the average person, you don't need all that.
You don't need all
So
that. Just
No,
show up. Just show up.
exactly. Because people are looking for authenticity and
Mm-hmm.
realness today. So it definitely does make a huge difference when you can show them like you're a real person at the end of the day. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people I still get up and, cook my own meals for my
Mm-hmm.
family and, do housework and things like that, even though
It's
I have a team, I have a staff that comes in and does some of the stuff, but it's still like, wait, there's still yet more stuff to be done. So, what are some daily habits or rituals that keep you operating at an iconic level?
So daily habits, daily rituals, and what I like to call my non-negotiables when it come in the morning. So I've been taught this prayer before phone, and I love it. So PP, right? Prayer before phone. So before I even pick up my phone, I'm saying a prayer of gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up because you know. Everybody don't have that privilege to wake up, and I don't take it lightly. With my history and things, every day that I'm alive, every day that I'm awake, every day that I'm able to move, I count it as a blessing. I take advantage of the good days. So my non-negotiables, my rituals is prayer, meditation, first thing in the morning, setting the tone of my day. While I'm getting dressed, I got my affirmations playing in the background and I'm just going, getting in and God don't play about me and I'm covered. And suddenly, but Pastor Mike, I'm just jamming, getting my day started, commanding my day. So those are the type of rituals and things that I do on a daily basis, and that sets the tone of my day. And that helps me realize that no matter what happens throughout the day, that I'm going to get through it because it's just temporary. Temporary. It's not my permanent destination. So a setback may come, yes. I might not be able to do as much I want to do that day, yes, but I can do something. A little is better than nothing. So a win is a win, regardless of how big or how small. And setting the tone of my day helps me keep that mindset and take advantage of a win is a win, regardless of how big or how small. So
I like it. I like it. No matter.
no
You
matter.
still continue to keep going. I love it.
Mhm.
So I know that legacy is more than wealth. So what legacy are you intentionally creating for generations to come?
The legacy that I'm creating through the art of evolving is one that will allow women to heal and to give them permission to start over without the shame. Um, because a lot of women have been conditioned to say or think that if I start over, I fail. Just because you start over does not mean that you have failed.
That's
Starting
right.
over can be a really good thing. Starting
Right.
over is a fresh start. It's a fresh plate, clean slate. Starting over. So that legacy of um of wanting my life and my work to remind women that the divorce, the betrayal, the hardship, and even the trauma that they have endured, does not cancel out their calling. So
Mhm.
their past does not dictate their future. Their past does not put a stamp of disqualification on their future, because regardless of what they've gone through, they don't answer to that. They don't answer to trauma. They don't identify as the abused woman. They don't identify as that divorcee. And then, with my legacy, my desire is that they see themselves as whole women, that they see themselves as healed women, and that just changing the mindset of the woman in general, and letting them know that we all need each other, and even the strong need somebody, and it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to say, okay, here I am now. I'm not going to hold this against myself. I'm going to show myself some grace. I'm going to show myself some mercy, and I'm going to evolve into who I have been created to be, and move forward in that. So leaving a legacy of faith and obedience, and wanting every woman that is connected to see that when you surrender to God, everything else will fall into place. Your life, your past will not hang over you, but it will continue to push you and propel you into your future.
Yes, I love that. And for many people that embrace the process, it really does allow them to walk into that new space
Mhm.
happy and whole, right? So I think that that's really good. So we talk about leadership, luxury, and legacy here. So, how do you personally define luxury as a leader?
Luxury as a leader is not one regarding, as you said, not the money aspect of things. It's more so um the well-being, the integrity, and being able to leave a legacy for my kid, leaving a legacy for the women. So I look at luxury as something that after everything I've survived, I understand it to being that it's peace, having a peace. That's a luxury, you know, and enjoying, embracing peace and not chaos. That's a luxury. Understanding that, I don't entertain that stuff because I have set boundaries.
Mhm.
Those are luxuries because I'm not who I used to be anymore. And I have evolved. And through that evolving, I want to help women understand that your piece, it's a price. And when you think of luxury, you think of expensive items, you think of stuff that really costs. Okay, your peace really costs you something,
Mhm.
right? Your obedience really costs you something. Your legacy is going to cost you something. It's going to cost you, yes, some sleepless nights. It's going to cost you to toss and turn, to cry, to holler and scream. However, in that luxury, you're gonna in the end get your peace. You're gonna have that peace. And once you get that peace and you realize, oh, it feels good here in this luxury piece, you will not allow anything to deter you, to help make you lose your focus because your piece is too expensive to be destroyed. Your your piece is that Louis Vuitton. that so
That's right.
how you treat that Louis Vuitton, that Michael Kors, or whatever that luxury item that that you got your eye on. Your piece is that. Think of your piece as that. Your piece is luxury. So keep that in mind as you go throughout. Your piece is your luxury.
That's right. I agree with you. Like some things money just cannot buy, but as you say,
Mm-mm.
that piece is that Louis Vuitton, that Michael Kors, that Gucci, right? I'm gonna take care of that thing.
You
That
gonna take
is
care of it?
perfect.
Yes,
I'm gonna make sure
exactly.
that it is all the way together. So I love
Hmm.
that. So what's the boldest risk that you've taken, let's just say in your business, and how did it reshape your trajectory?
The boldest risk that I've taken um, was stepping out on faith and telling my story. So after being forced out of the workplace due to medical and life not looking like the way I had thought or how I had imagined my life would go and be, stepping out on faith, and that was a risk because investing time, effort, energy, finances, and you really don't know what's going to happen the next step. You really don't know what the next step is going to entail. you know uh and that's a big risk. It took faith, it took obedience, and not took still takes faith, it still takes obedience, it still take surrendering and making a decision to reshape my mindset and to think of it as not just a business but as a beacon of light and hope. And even in that risk, my risk is going to help somebody else. Me stepping out on faith is going to help somebody else. So it's a calculated risk, yes, but in the long run, when God is in the forefront and you stepping out on faith, then you can't go wrong. You can't go
That's
wrong.
right. I agree with you there. Um, Stepping out on faith definitely allows you though the ability to be able to see how strong you really are.
Hmm.
And I've learned over the years that a lot of us are stronger than we give ourselves credit for, right? So it allows us to really be able to stretch out in God in the way that he would be pleased, right? We,
Mhm.
through our actions, we get the opportunity to really please God and show him to the world, because some people will only see us or get the opportunity to read us as if we were the Bible, because they won't take the time to read it for themselves,
And
right?
exactly,
So
exactly.
this is
Mhm.
really good here today. So for those who are listening who feel called to lead but question their power, what's your message to them?
So to those that are called and you questioning your power, my message to you is your ending is not your ending. It's just a pivot. Is just a change in your trajectory. And sometimes is your boldest move is not climbing the ladder per se, but it's having the courage to build something new that aligns to who you are now, that aligns to what you have survived and who you're called to be, and aligns with your voice. I would encourage those to take that leap of faith. I would encourage those to develop the strength and the courage by moving forward, by not waiting for fear to disappear. And I would encourage them to don't allow uncertainty to cancel their assignment, basically.
Mhm.
And so that's just the opportunity of being chosen, being capable, and being called, because you can do it. And regardless, if you're scared, step out on faith, do it. Watch God do the work, and you just be faithful, obedient over the little things, and He will make you, the rule over so much more.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So finally, how can the audience connect with you? Because I know that there's going to be some people that want to find out how they can get that piece that is more expensive than those fancy bags, right? So how can
Yes,
they
yes,
connect with
yes.
you?
You can connect with me via email Danielle at theartofrevolving.com, and then also on my website, danielledominique.com. Find me, send me a message. Let's do the work of the art of revolving and understanding the true essence of forgiveness, and taking care of our being whole, being healed, and evolving into the women who God has called us to be.
Yes, I love that. And I know that we'll have to have you back on the show again, because you have some amazing things that's coming up. And of course, we
Yes.
want to hear all about how that's going. So thank you
Yes,
so much
yes.
for being here on today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And thank you all for tuning in to the Iconic Pioneers podcast, where we don't just build brands, we build blueprints for generations. Remember, icons aren't born, they're built by those bold enough to lead unapologetically. Until next time, keep leading, keep building, and keep breaking every limitation. It's been our pleasure. Until next time, take
Yes.
care.
Yeah.
This is iconic pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Housed with wisdom, Dr. Tabatha Russell on the mic. Press play.
Stay ready. The movement starts now.